I feel like you're the best I've ever seen you, and I'm just extremely excited about what you have next and all the great things you're doing. And I think there was like, and you talked about it in the doc, like I would love to know if there was like an aha moment kind of thing. Because you talk about in the doc, you went through this trial, and you had a little boy, and like sort of all these life events. And I think did you go somewhere to like kind of work on some of this?
Yeah, I went to rehab in Nashville.
What drove you
I went
to
to
that
Cumberland
moment?
Heights. Honestly, I think it was just like exhaustion, and just being at just nowhere else to turn, like just feeling like a rat in a cage, like just feeling like I couldn't do it anymore. It was just so.
Because you were going through it publicly.
Oh, everything was public, man. I mean, it's just crazy, and yeah. So it got hard, and I just had my son. Things were going on with my marriage, and it was just all happening at the same time, and all publicly, and all of that. And I think that I just got to a point where I was like, I don't know I don't know how to do this. Like, this is just something I don't know how to do. I know how to survive. Like, I've been doing that my whole life. I feel like I've needed to just survive. So I knew I could do that, but I didn't know how. Because you can survive, but you could survive and have made really bad choices, and you could survive and end up somewhere not too great, or die or whatever it is. And so yeah, I just was like, all right, I know I'm gonna survive, I know I'm gonna be all right, I know I'm not gonna be like that headline, but I don't know what the hell is going on, or how I'm gonna navigate through this, or how I'm ever gonna do what I love again, or be a father, and it just became this like, and
Yeah.
I had to go somewhere where I got there. I went, it was like this battle where I was like kicking and screaming, no, I don't want to go, but I know I have to go. And then finally I got there, and it was beautiful. It was Nashville, Tennessee. It's just rolling green hills, the most beautiful. Johnny Cash went there, and they like built a wing for him, and there's just this like peace, and it was just trees and silence and rolling hills and a lake, and like, and it was the first time for so long, and I didn't even realize it, that I walked out. I'd just gone through all of my like intake, so I was just like kicking and screaming through that. I was like, I don't want to hear this, sucks, And finally I like get my papers, and I walk outside, and I see where I'm at, and I just go, and it was the first deep breath that I'd taken in I don't know how long. It was this like sudden, oh my God, that's what this feels like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all right. You made the best decision you could have possibly made. It's gonna be cool. And so then, through that, it became. I don't know if you've ever gone to like a place where you're like, it's militaristic. You're stuck. Like you're following the rules. You're in there day in, day out, 30, however long, 30, 60, whatever it is. And, it starts as a battle, and you're just like, F the staff, F the authority, F this, do what you got to do to get out of here. And then stuff starts clicking, starts making sense. You start vibing with some of the guys. You start hearing their stories. You start going, wow, wow, I'm not alone in this. Because that's the number one thing is you're like, you don't get me, man. You don't
Sure.
understand. Don't try and help me. You don't know how I feel. You don't know my pain. You've never experienced what I've been through.
Yeah, it's the
Shut
power,
up.
the power of Me Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm
I've been
sitting there
too.
around all these guys in a room, and I'm hearing how this person went through this, and this person went through this, and I'm going, okay, first of all, I'm not alone, and second of all, damn, you guys are pretty ballsy and brave to
share your
share
experience.
your experience in this room with strangers, and then we all became brothers, man, and we bonded. Like I've got a show in Nashville coming up. A bunch of them are coming, and it's like that was no more of a battle. Like I was excited to go to class in the morning. I was excited to make my bed. I became the mayor of the cabin. I became the guy that was and that's before the rehab, I had said no to the documentary over and over and over and over and over.
Wow.
I was not going to be a part of it. I didn't want any part of it. And but after rehab, when I came out, I was like, let me see what your angle is here. I'll talk to you guys. I'll start entertaining this idea because maybe, because I felt really good. And I felt, like, wow, this is maybe sharing my story will help me and maybe help others, and maybe and I didn't want to have my story. I always thought I didn't know if I was ever going to really say anything, but I would think about it a lot.
Sure.
And I would think, well, if I ever did, what is it going to just be like on a podcast, or is it going to be like in an interview that maybe some people read? Like, what would be the platform that I would have to like ever like get on Oprah,
Sure.
Like
Oprah comes back for us.
Yeah, right.
Double entendre.
Come on. So when I was like, maybe this is, maybe this is all kind of the way it was supposed to work out. That if you were ever going to tell your story, like here's a platform, here's a way to get it heard and to make it not be meaningless, and so that's why after the rehab, I was like, all right, maybe this is my opportunity to do this thing that I never thought that I would ever do.
When I went into my first 12-step meeting, I remember a guy said, you didn't tell me what was wrong with me. You told me what was wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I identified. Because for so long I walked around going, I think too much, I feel too much, I hurt too much, and if you had my head on your shoulders, you'd drink too.
Yeah.
But you don't.
Yep.
So, and it wasn't until I walked into a room of other people who think and feel and hurt and drank and did the way I did, but they weren't a glum lot. They were people who had lives and families and careers, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm not alone, right? Because this thing, trauma, disease, addiction, it wants you alone.
That's the number one thing, is you are alone in this, and that's what I was going through all those years.
Yeah, we're the good guys.